Cool. Okay. Oh, let's turn this on. Good idea. Let's turn that on. Cover it.
This is Chef Lance Nitahara and Chef Roger Hughesland, Paul Smith College.
Hey!
Is somebody's phone ringing?
I don't think so.
No.
Hi folks. Hi to all you people who are new. I think there's some people who saw the demo earlier. But, I'm Chef Lance, and this is my sous chef, Roger. And we come from a Christian conference center resort in Speculator, New York. It's about 2 hours south of here. And today, Chef Isaac has asked me to come and do a demo on new techniques and innovative techniques for, I guess, traditional foods like ice cream. And today what we're making is a chèvre and lavender ice cream. Chèvre is goat cheese, for anything you don't know. And that's going to be made with the help of the lavender.
Yeah, buddy.
The lavender is probably my favorite way to make ice cream. It actually makes the ice cream very creamy and dense and very unctuous because of the small crystals that it creates because it's so cold. We're also making a microwave brioche. Are you guys all baking pastry? Oh, you guys are all culinary. You guys know what brioche is? Yeah. Okay, so we're making a microwave brioche. We'll do it in the microwave. But we're going to do it with the help of my ISI whip, which is basically a cream whipper, which will provide the aeration in the brioche instead of the heat sticks in traditional brioche. And then we're going to be doing beet spheres, which is tiny little balls of beet juice that have been seasoned with a little aged Japanese apple vinegar. It's really good. It actually, it rounds up the beet flavor. Sometimes beets can taste kind of almost like dirt, but this actually has a very nice flavor. And beets are actually one of my favorite, not favorite, but one of I like to use beets in desserts. Beets have a really nice flavor that complement many desserts. That's going to be made with a cold oil technique. I don't know if you guys have seen people do caviars, fruit caviars and things like that with sodium maltonate and calcium chloride. This is done without those chemicals. This is done using basically gelatin. We gelified the beet juice, and we're going to drip it into very cold oil. And I'll explain that later as well. And finally, we're going to put on the plate also carbonated strawberries. And the strawberries are carbonated also with the cream whipper, but I've charged the cream whipper with CO2 charges instead of nitrous oxide charges, and CO2 is what makes soda fizzy. And so take strawberries, quarter them, put them in balloons, and then fill them up with CO2. Tie them off, put them in the fridge, and what that does is it actually makes the strawberries fizzy, because the CO2 dissolves into the water of the strawberries, so it makes it fizzy. So basically you're eating fresh strawberry with a taste of strawberry syrup. So my water is boiling. We're going to start. Anybody have any questions? No? Alright. Roger has nothing to do because in the previous demos he was filling up my strawberry balloons, but they're all filled up already. I'm going to start the ice cream. We're making basically a traditional anglaise, a creme anglaise, which is a stirred vanilla custard sauce. But then I'm also going to steep in the dried lavender, some vanilla bean, and in the end we melt in our fresh goat cheese. So I've got cream and milk here. I guess later on, if you guys want the recipes, we have to make more copies of them. So it's 2 cups of whole milk and 1 cup of heavy cream. I'm going to add my dried lavender in there. And then also the salt. I always put salt in my desserts, just a little bit, so that the flavors of the dessert can come through. It's not just going to make it salty, but to balance flavors. And the goat cheese will also add a small amount of salt to balance my flavor very nicely. We have half a vanilla bean here, which we've split. I'm going to open up that vanilla bean and add it right in there. So that those seeds can get right on the side. I'm going to scald our milk. Bring our milk to simmer, and as we wait for that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cream my egg yolks and my sugar together, just like you would a regular omelet. egg yolks here. Okay. If you guys have any questions at all, just speak up.
Where'd you go to culinary school, Chef Lance?
I went to the CIA, Culinary Institute of America. So to my egg yolks, I had sugar, the 3/4 cup of sugar. And I'm going to go ahead and whisk that. I'm going to whisk it in order to make it, to aerate my yolks and my sugar to be able to accept the hot cream. So you want to whisk these until they get, pale colored and nice and frothy. And as I'm doing this, what Roger's doing there is he's prepping for the brioche. Now the ingredients for the brioche are everything except for it's a typical brioche like batter, minus the yeast. And again, yeast is a biological leavener, and what we're doing is we're making brioche using a mechanical leavening component, which is the cream whipper there. So I've got my egg yolks and my sugar there. I'm just waiting for my cream to come to a simmer. Let's see. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to drip my beets. So what I have here is 5 cups of vanilla oil and 5 cups of olive oil. And we put it in the refrigerator to get it cold for 2 reasons. When you chill down oil, it becomes denser, it becomes more viscous, and also we use it. I want it cold because when I drip this into it, this is beet juice with gelatin in it. When I drip it in, the drops of beet juice are going to start to sink, and as they sink, they're going to form little perfect little spheres. And by the time they hit the bottom, hopefully they'll be set. They'll be set in little tiny little spheres at the bottom because they're nice and cold all the way down. So I'm going to take this and I'm just going to drip it. I wish you guys could see this. As soon as I'm done, I'll bring it out there and you guys can take a look. Do a lot of these. Let's put a lot. This is our last demo. So you guys want to come and take a look? See all the spheres at the bottom.
Where did you get these recipes from?
Well, some of them are adaptations from other chefs that I've taken a look at what they're doing and mimicking them. And mimicking people is one of the, they say it's almost flattery. And I believe that, copying other chefs that know what they're doing or are on the cusp of being cutting edge, it's crucial so that you can actually take these techniques and you can improve on them. All right. So I'm going to take these and I'm going to put them back in the fridge. All right, Roger, ready? Yeah. Okay, so Roger's going to, he basically took all the ingredients and dumped them in there, and he's going to blend them up really nice and smooth. The easiest thing ever. You don't have to worry about making it dry or your eggs turning anything bad. Work the blender, rinse it out. As long as it's a great consistency, when you go through your whipping, you can aerate it. That'll put the brioche on there. It's not going to have the same crust structure as a traditional brioche, but the crust structure is very similar. There's a lot of water in eggs and the water in the milk, and so when the brioche batter is aerated in the cream whipper into the cups, that water when it's heated in the microwave creates steam, and that's what creates what you would call in a regular oven, you would call it oven spring. And so you have that oven spring in your microwave. And we take it out after 45 seconds, turn the cup upside down. And what that ends up doing is it's like a souffle, so it's going to continue to expand until it reaches the point where the starches in the batter have gelatinous and they'll hold their shape. pretty neat though. The thing about it too is that you have to eat it right away. If you don't eat it right away and it sits, it does this bizarre thing from the inside out where it turns into like a baked meringue almost, where it's like dry and crispy. And I'm thinking about toying with that and using that in different preparations. It's a really neat texture. But what we're going to do now, we're going to finish up our anglaise here. My milk has come to a simmer. I'm going to go ahead and strain that right into my egg yolks. I'm going to temper it in. You don't want to add it all at once because you don't want scrambled eggs. So you start with maybe half of your cream. Warm up these eggs, get them ready for the next half. So they can accept the next half without coagulating. I do it in 3 stages sometimes. Finally, the last stage. I've got my water already simmering for my double boiler. Bring my custard to 160. We're freezing this ice cream with liquid nitrogen.
Yeah, buddy.
Which would make the pasteurization of the anglaise almost unnecessary, simply because liquid nitrogen will pasteurize because it's so cold. But I firmly believe that to bring your anglaise, to get it a little thicker before you make the ice cream, will result in a better texture. So I'm going to go ahead and let that sit. I would imagine. So I'm just charging this up with nitrous oxide. And nitrous oxide is, if any of you know about cars out there, it's what a lot of people use to race their cars. And make it
The same stuff you have in your minivan, right?
Yeah. It's also the same chemical in laughing gas. So I don't know if any of you remember when dentists used to use laughing gas. Good days. I don't think they do anymore. Do they still do that?
Oh, I still get it.
Oh, really?
But you gotta know who to know. I can hook you up.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
Awesome.
So he's going to do these one at a time. One of the problems we had in the first demo was that we were doing these 2 at a time, so I'm not sure if the wattage of the microwave was able to handle the brew. Any questions? Anyone? Any questions? Come on, y'all, you're kidding me. Come on.
What are some of your favorite contemporary chefs?
Some of my
And
favorite
why?
contemporary chefs? Well, this is might be a surprise, but actually Gordon Ramsay is one of my favorite chefs. A lot of people are like, does he really act like that? I actually have a friend that actually is one of the sous chefs down in Florida, and he knows him personally, and he said that he is actually a very gentle, down-to-earth guy. But I have a number of his cookbooks. I've seen the food. I haven't tasted his food yet. I want to, but I've seen the food that he's done in London and all around the world. And he's a visionary. His food is awesome. Then of course there's Heston Blumenthal, who does all this kind of stuff. But the one thing I like about Heston Blumenthal, I don't know if you've ever heard of the Fat Duck. That's a restaurant in England. Is that he doesn't just do this stuff as fluff. He doesn't just put this molecular gastronomy on a plate. He pairs it with real classical cooking techniques, which is what I think is very important when it comes to this stuff. Because otherwise, this is just for shock value. What I want to do, and what I know that he wants to do, is to get better results from different techniques, from new techniques and new equipment for, for older recipes or older dishes. That, for instance, he does a vegetable pot de feu, which is basically a one-pot cookery. It's a French one-pot stew, and in that pot de feu, the broth he uses is a vegetable consommé. He doesn't he doesn't make a consommé in the typical way. I don't know if you guys are learning consommés right now. But the consommé that he makes the technique's called gelatin filtration. And what he does is he takes a main item, purees that item, he blends it in a blender with some kind of liquid. You can use a flavorful liquid, or you can use just water. Weighs that liquid out, and the resulting weight takes about 1% to 2%, depending on the starch content of your liquid, and moves gelatin into that liquid. And he takes that liquid, he melts down the gelatin, and freezes it in a container. Once it's frozen, takes it out and hangs it in either a cheesecloth or in some kind of filter, and puts it in a refrigerator for about 3 days. And what happens during those 3 days is it's something called syneresis. And syneresis happens when you take a hydrocolloid, which is what gelatin is, and you freeze it. And when you freeze the gelatin matrix, the water that's within that matrix of the gelatin breaks out of the matrix with ice crystals. These ice crystals are sharp, and they cut through the matrix, but they don't break it down fully. And so when it melts, the water comes out, or the liquid comes out of the matrix, and leaves the particulates behind as like a filter. And so all that stuff that drips into his pan underneath the cheesecloth is perfectly clear, really flavorful, and you get a ton of yield. And so he was doing that with veal stock, and not even adding gelatin to it, because veal stock is gelatinous already. So he's just taking the stock, freezing it, and hanging it, and you've got perfect consommé without having to make a wrap. That wrap is going to also take flavor out of your consommé, because the wrap absorbs flavor. It also absorbs yield, so you have less yield because you're simmering for so long. And so it's just you get better results for an old technique, but that old technique should never die, of course. Just to be clear on it. So my Anglais has reached the proper temperature for pasteurization. I can tell by the way it looked and the viscosity of it. It had a light nappe. Cool it down a little bit, and then we're going to go ahead and put the other brioche. All right. So, just as a little warning, in the first 2 demos, I think we used quite a bit of nitrogen. So I'm hoping that we have enough nitrogen for this one, and I'm going to use it all, and we'll see. If not, you get a nice lavender goat cheese. Oh, I actually know. Talking too much. Okay. Alright, so is this guy ready? Like this. These spheres have set already. This right here is liquid nitrogen. In a special insulated container called a dewar. The nitrogen itself is not expensive. It's about little over $3 a liter. There's 4 liters in here. But the dewar is expensive. This thing is somewhere between $500 and $700. And it has what's called, it does something called sublimation. And well, sublimation happens here. Sublimation is basically taking something in one state and bringing it to the next using either heat or cold. And so when you boil water, sublimation happens, goes from water to vapor to a gas. Liquid nitrogen turns directly into gas as well, except, and it boils, and the sublimation point is also boiling, but it boils at negative 321 degrees, which is about 77 degrees Kelvin. And so it's very, very, very cool. And what I'm going to do is we're going to put the Anglais straight into our mixer, and then pour the liquid nitrogen right into the Anglais as it's mixing. And and sublimation means it's going to turn directly into a gas, and nothing will be left behind. It's pure liquid nitrogen, so you're not going to taste anything different. It's not going to leave any residue at all. So it's not dangerous. All right. Okay, you guys might want to I'm not going to say it's 100% safe because it's not, and I really should be wearing goggles in lunch, so we'll do this anyway. You see the steam is coming off there, or the vapor. Turn this on low. I'm going to start pouring it in. You're going to see all this vapor come out of it. I'm not going to be able to see inside the bowl. But I'm going to know it's pretty much done when you hear the sound's going to be different. You're going to start hearing the paddle scraping up against the side of something on the side of the bowl. What that is the ice cream solidifying inside of the bowl.
Where do you get your liquid nitrogen?
We went to a little town about an hour north of here called Rushton. And we bought it from a medical and industrial gas provider.
Do you have to be certified?
No. You have to have a doer.
They sell it to anyone.
Alright.
Oh, make the school
Yeah, how much does the doer normally cost?
Alright, starting to hear it scrape. You hear that? It's starting to strain the motor a little bit, so I'll hold off a little bit. See the extra spurting out of there. And we have ice cream.
Yeah, buddy.
You guys? Instant ice cream. So I was telling them in the other class, I actually have a friend who's trying to get the Guinness World Record for fastest ice cream from cow to bowl. And so he's going to use liquid nitrogen. He's going to basically set everything up next to the cow and milk it and make ice cream. And he thinks he can do it somewhere around the realm of 5 minutes or so. I'm not sure. Yeah, sure. Alright, I'm going to strain out these pearls here.
How long can you keep those spheres?
Basically what I've made is beet jello.
Yeah.
So you can keep them, I would say, I mean, if you're doing this in the pastry or garbage section of your restaurant, you can hold it on the line for 7 days. If you made the spheres using alginate, you'd be able to hold them for probably about 4 or 5 hours before they start to deflate on you. That's one of the reasons why I like this technique. So. These are spheres. Put this in the freezer.
Oh, yeah.
Put this in the freezer and just for a while. So it'll melt.
How about both? Yeah. What's our timing?
A lot of jobs in one of his classes, like, hey, we're going to do some photography, and then eventually we were like, sure, so we got together for the photo, so I Chef McCarthy, the first sample of brioche.
No, man, I was in the first one.
Oh,
Yeah, the first is a brioche is no good.
third presentation. First of this presentation.
Can you make bigger spheres? Or are they all generally like, well, how do you, can you size them?
To size them if you change the density of the basis. So you could take that gel liquid, or even before you gelify it, and add xanthan gum to it, or thicken it with some kind of hydrochlor. Like you can even add cornstarch to thicken it, so it would come out of the squeeze bottle in larger amounts. Okay, so I'm going to start putting this ice cream on, and Roger here is going to start opening the strawberries. Once he puts the strawberries on the plate, what I want to ask you guys to do, as soon as the strawberries hit the plate, come up and grab a plate and stick the strawberry in your mouth.
If we have to.
The fizziness disappears after a little while. So I want you guys to mop the table, right? Yeah. Hey, come on, guys. Grab one. Go. Eat the strawberry now. Eat it now. Eat it right now. Eat it. Put it in your mouth now.
Eat it, cut the strawberry.
Right now.
That's fantastic.
Is it fizzy?
Yes.
Is it cool?
That's amazing.
That's awesome.
So how long did you put them in the balloon for?
About an hour.
An hour?
Yeah.
If you keep them in the balloon longer, will the fizziness last longer?
Well, the funny thing about it is that we did it. We inflated four of them overnight last night, and when we came in this morning, the balloons were deflated. So I'm thinking it's because I bought balloons from Walmart, but I'm assuming that it would stay fizzy, but I don't know if the fizziness would last longer when it got subjected to the air.
Somebody hand me one down without a strawberry and a spoon, please. Thanks very much.
Trying ice cream on my.
Alright guys, let me come around there.
Thanks, Rajo.
How's the ice cream?
I think the whole combination.
Beets and goat cheese.
As long as it's not in
One of my favorites. It's one of my favorites.
I was reading something about strawberry onions rated some of the restaurants. One of the criteria is you can't have beets and goat cheese.
Oh really?